Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kay and I am documenting on this channel our entire process of building our new construction home here in the San Antonio area. If you're new here, we're talking about all about the new construction process. I'm giving you all the tea as I learn it going through this process. This is our third home that we've purchased, but the first that we've built. So this is a first time for us. So as we learn things, I share them here on the channel, as well as give you updates so we can all celebrate the progress of our new home. Once this is done, we're going to move into like some home decor stuff, decorating the house, turning it from a house to a home. So if you're into that type of stuff, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. And you can check our family out over on the Instagram. We're Family of Six. That's where I kind of share some behind the scenes. You can get to know our personality and all that good stuff. I'm a business owner. I share some business advice over there in our stories. So feel free to check us out over on Instagram as well. Today, we're going to be talking about the types of questions I think are relevant for your new construction meeting as the homeowner. Now, I did another video that talked about what to expect at your new construction meeting. I'll leave a card for it here. You can go back and catch that because that's going to explain to you what you can expect from your construction manager and things of that. But today I want to talk to you about some things that now that I've been to the pre-construction meeting, things that we asked as homeowners and things I think we should have asked at the pre-construction meeting because we've had to go back and ask them to help you think about the function of how you use your house and think about the things that you would want. I'm all about design and function. So we're going to think about those minute details in today's video. In addition to that, while I have your attention, I'm also thinking about doing a series where I start to document us preparing this house to get sold. If you're interested in how to interview a realtor, financing and stuff like that, even thinking about doing some interviews with like some brokerages, as far as some mortgage brokers and some real estate brokers. If you're into that and you want more of that information, drop down in the comments and let me know. I've got a couple questions at the end of the video, so be sure to check those out as well. But just while it's on my mind, be sure to let me know. But until then, let's get into today's video. I'm gonna take a break real quick, go get some. And when we come back after the intro, we'll talk about all the things that I think are things that you should think about as a homeowner before you go to your pre-construction meeting so you know what to ask. Let's hop into today's video. All right. So you've made it to the pre-construction meeting. Congratulations. That means that you are not too far away from breaking ground on your home. And depending on your builder, let me say this before we get into the nitty-gritty of today's video. Depending on your builder, what you can do and what you can't do at the pre-construction meeting may differ just a little bit. I made another video that talks about what you should expect at your pre-construction meeting. I'll leave it in a card on the screen. But today I want to talk about what you as the homeowner can take to the pre-construction meeting as far as the types of questions you may want to ask, because even now after our pre-construction meeting, there are still some things that are coming up and I'm like, I should have asked that during the meeting. So today we're going to talk about the types of questions you want to ask when you go to the pre-construction meeting. So just really quickly to do a quick recap of what to expect, your construction manager is going to come, you're going to go over all your options, they're going to give you a timeline, all that good stuff. You can hear what that looks like in the what to expect when you go to your pre-construction meeting video. But as the homeowner, I'm sure you've got like 900 questions. I know for me, I've always got questions. Like I sit and think about this stuff all the time. And something always comes up and I'm like, I wonder. Now, what I try to do is control questions on my own that would lead to me changing something, because I have made a commitment that I am not going to make any design changes because I don't want to slow down the timeline. I think. I hope Debbie's not watching this. She's going to kill me. There are a couple of things that Tim and I have kind of had time to sit and think about. And that's kind of the caveat, right? It takes so long to build these houses that you have time to sit and look at other houses, look at the builder, create other stuff. And you're like, I wonder if they can do that in my house. So it does give you, that's kind of like the con to the build process. You got a whole lot of time on your hands to sit and think about stuff that you can change. But I am trying to be a good builder of a new home and say, okay, unless it is just absolutely necessary to the function of the house when we move in, I'm going to hold off on my changes and I will take care of them on my own when we move in. But some of the categories of questions that we had when we went to our pre-construction meeting for the construction manager was one, of course, timeline. Because we were kind of off as far as signing a contract by the time we got to the pre-construction meeting, there had been some delays. So because there were some delays, we did want to know if we were still on course for the original timeline. It was at that time that we found out that that timeline will update at different stages of the game, because sometimes we may be below or behind schedule, and then they may be able to catch up at different stages. So at the pre-construction meeting, they weren't giving any other timelines because we hadn't broke ground yet, but they informed us that at each stage, so with our builder, there's, I want to say 9 stages. And at each stage, they would check in, check the timeline, see where they were, and give us a projected time of closing. So we wanted to know about timeline just because we had experienced a few delays. But we also wanted to know, this, for me, it was mostly design. It was mostly design. You know, they go through the expectations. If your builder doesn't go through the expectations as far as who's the point contact, who's the project manager, what day they're on site, how you communicate with them, then of course, those are questions that you want to ask. Our builder did a really good job of saying, okay, here's a reference guide for who's going to be handling the build on your project. My name is Mike. I'm your construction manager. I've got these people in place, depending on different stages, but if you ever have questions, you can reach out directly to me. So we knew who was going to be responsible for the build, and our sales coordinator is extremely involved in our process. So I still, until this day, but probably because we haven't started doing anything major as far as construction is concerned, I've been going to her and she's been getting me the answers that I need. She's great. So of course you want to ask those type of questions. Who's who and who's going to be responsible for what? But this is the time, probably, if you're the designer of the build process, like for us, for me and Tim, I'm the one that's concerned about design. Tim is concerned about function and, security and lighting and stuff like that. So our questions differ. From a design perspective, one of the questions and this is design, and I want to call it may not even be feng shui, but just the function of your home. And this is probably a question you should ask before you pick your lot, but it didn't dawn on me until after we were already in this process. Lot orientation. Which direction is your home facing? So this is going to matter depending on how you use your space and what the floor plan is set up like. This is one of the things that by the time we got to the pre-construction meeting, it was too late because I'd already picked a lot. But these are one of those questions that you want to ask while you're going through this process, because it will greatly impact how you use your home. I'll give you an example of that. I'm a content creator. As you can see, it's 8:43 in the morning and I'm sitting in my living room. I have no lights on in the living room. This video is being lit directly by by natural light coming in from the windows. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 big, pretty windows here in the living room, and they are lighting this space, which is giving me the ability to sit in here without the need of any fabricated light to shoot this video. Well, I do this often. Okay, so yes, I'm pretty new to YouTube as far as this is concerned, but I shoot videos for Instagram. I shoot videos for brand collaborations. So I need the home to be well lit. Well, guess who didn't think about that before she picked her lot? this girl right here. So my windows, the current way my home faces is these windows are southwest facing, I believe. And in addition to that, this is our entertainment space. So this is like the family room that's connected to the dining and the kitchen area. And then our game room is open up above, and that this area lights upstairs as well. Well, what I didn't think about is in the new home, it's kind of similar. The family area is towards the back of the house when you walk in. Up front is where the guest bedroom is, where laundry and stuff, you can get to it. Then you move up and there's Tim's office. Then you go a little deeper. You walk through our kitchen, which is, I don't know the style of kitchen that it is. I'll figure it out soon, I'm sure. But then you go to the back, and that's where kind of like the family area is, the great room, the dining room, the entertainment room, my office, the bedroom. All that stuff is towards the back of the house. Well, I utilize this space a lot for work, and right now I'm taking advantage of the windows and the natural lighting. But in the new house, the lot that I chose is the exact opposite. The back of the home is north facing, which does not let in this type of light, and the front of the house is south facing. So where at this house right now, this is a south facing window, and the front of the house is a north facing window, which is where my office is. It's still really well lit. Like when I'm having meetings and stuff, I'm in front of the window and it's beautiful. It gives more of a soft light, but for that really bright, natural light look, it's just not going to be conducive to that. Will it have stopped me from picking the lot? Probably not, but it would have helped me understand what my function is going to be like. And I'm learning now what my function is going to have to be like at the new home, because I won't have that natural light source. So luckily, there are 999 lights in the house that comes standard. They light it up, baby. So I should have inside lights that will help. But as a content creator, I can tell you ain't nothing like some natural light, especially on this brown skin. It just, it comes across so much better. Also, I'm a plant mom, and I've got some pretty big plants. I've got like fiddle leaf fig trees. I've got monsteras. I've got, what is that? That is what are you? Anyways, I've got about 35 plants indoors right now, which I will not have that many plants when we move, because I'm going to get rid of some of them just because we're going to have to move to an apartment pretty soon. So I won't have that many going in, but I generally, this is so funny. I know I'm rambling. I know this ain't what you came for, but I'm just setting you up, right? So our community is right next door to one of my favorite nurseries, which is also one of the reasons why I picked the community. And that particular nursery sells, oh my God, it's just heaven. So for my plant situation, I'm going to have to figure something out, because north-facing windows are good and conducive for low light needing plants. And I've got quite a few plants that require a good amount of light, so we may have to make some adjustments. In my office, we should be fine because those plants are acclimated to being in a lower light setting, but I may have to make some adjustments. My plan was to get a big fiddle leaf fig tree for the living room. Well, that won't work because it won't be enough light. So if you're a plant mom, again, this is the design and I guess you call it the feng shui of the house. Those things are important to me. If you have similar traits, then you want to know which way your windows are going to be facing, what the orientation of your house is, because that's going to greatly impact your ability to be able to style it in a way with certain things. You're just going to have to make the adjustments. I'll adjust. I'm a plant mom and I love my plants, but I don't love them so much that it's going to affect the way I built my house. We picked our lot because we love our lot. So anyways, so that's one question, the orientation of the house. The second type of question that I had was as far as the entryway. We go over all of the design stuff. But the second type of question that we had was placement of like your, what's it called? Not appliances, not like your stove and stuff like that, but placement of things like your hot water heater, water softeners. We are wired for a water softener here because this San Antonio water is something else. So placement of those items, uh, where they're going to be. So we asked, and we want to know how many. So things like your air conditioner, your water heater, your water softener, if applicable, any furnaces, if you're in an area that requires that, where are those things going to be located? Your water, the thing outside that turns off the water, where are those things located? You want to know where those are. And if you have the ability to change the location, like your AC unit, where is that going to be? Is it going to be an eyesore? Is it going to be sitting on the side of the house where if somebody drives by, they can see your AC unit? Or do you have the ability to tuck it behind the house? Or if you're like me and you work from home, please don't put my AC unit next to where the study is going to be, because I'm going to spend a lot of my time in there recording and stuff like that. And I don't want the AC unit going off. So those types of things, again, go back to function, but it allows you to think about, okay, this is how we live in a house, or this is how I plan to live in a house. Where are these major things going to be? So AC units, 1, how many of them will we have? 2, where will they be located? Water heaters, same question. How many of them will we have? 2, where will they be located? Water softener, those major things that kind of run the utility of the home. Generators are a big deal here in Texas. We plan to put a generator in. This wasn't a question that we asked at the pre-construction meeting, but this is absolutely a question we're going to have from Mike. We want one of the generators that will tap into the natural gas of the house that actually sits in the backyard. Will we have space for that? Can we leave space for that? Those types of questions. Be thinking about them now, because some of this I'm having to go back after the pre-construction meeting and ask about. And I wish I would have thought about them beforehand. So ask about those questions. We did ask about the number of units, the number of water heaters, stuff like that. But be sure to kind of take note of those things and what your future plans are for the house, so you can make sure that they build a house according to not only what you want it to be when you move in, but any future plans that you know for sure you're going to do. All right. Another thing that I would say is going to be important to ask in terms of function of the home, is the doors to the garages. So, and I'm not talking about the front doors. So depending on your home, and again, this may be more of a semi-custom build type of deal, but we've got it's called a four-car tandem garage, but it's 3 full bays plus some extra space in the back. But they call it 4 cars because you technically can fit 4 full-size cars in there. But trash, this is one of the things that has me kind of like, I might have to make this change, especially now that we're going into structural. We're putting up the framing of the house. It's one of those things where you're like, how are we going to take out the trash, friend? Okay, so depending on the size of your home, we have a giant footprint. And I won't call it giant. It's a big footprint, okay? It's over 4,200 square feet. It's pretty wide, and our kitchen is located smack dab in the middle of the house. So as it relates to trash, this is one of those intricate details that me as a mom sitting here like, I don't want my son packing trash through my living room. Legit, this is what I'm asking. So as it relates to trash, where are you going to have your trash cans? And this is important because during your pre-construction meeting, you might need something extra. This might be a change that you want to make, because this is a change that we're going to make. And it might seem trivial, but for me, I don't want trash tracked through the living part of my house. I would prefer him go through the garage. But because the footprint of the house is so big, I also don't want to, because he ain't going to be here forever. At some point, we're going to have to take out the trash. My husband, we being my husband. But at some point, somebody else is going to have to take out the trash, right? So because the footprint is so big, can we put an additional door in the garage to go to the backyard so that I can house the trash cans in the backyard and I can get there quickly without having to walk around the enormous foundation or the enormous exterior of the house to get to the trash cans? Because now that I see the footprint of the house, the trash cans will sit in the back behind that garage that kind of pokes out. But in order to get there, he's going to either have to go through the front door, which I don't want. I would much rather prefer him go through the garage and go out of a door in the garage. So the question becomes, can we add an additional exterior door from the garage that will allow this part of the function of what I'm trying to do, that to happen? Because that door is not in the plan. But I have another rental property, which is what gave me the idea. I have another property down in Katy, and our garage has a door that allows us to access the backyard. That is what I want. I want him to be able to go through the garage, because it's the shortest route through the house when he's taking out the trash, to go through the garage, access a door that allows him access to the outside, that will allow him to take out the trash. Something that small, but it's function, right? It's function. It's how you use your house, and it will increase the, what's the word I'm looking for? It will increase how you use your home. So that for me is important. I didn't think about it at the pre-construction meeting, but because you haven't got there yet, that might be something for you to think about. And if it's possible, see if it's possible for your own home. All right. What other types of questions? The outside, the exterior of the house. A lot of times we think about the interior of the house, right? Because that's the space that we're going to use the most. That's the space that we live in. It's the space we're looking the most forward to. For some of us, we look forward to outside. I look forward to outside. We use our outside space. That's why we extended our patio. So I've been infatuated with what my backyard is going to look like. I'm infatuated that we sit up on the hill. We get to sit up in these trees. Our house is a little bit elevated than everybody else's. So we can see out, but they can't see us. It still offers a little bit of privacy. Like, it's a dream, right? It gives you a feeling that you're not so close to people, but in actuality, my neighbor is right next door. And when I want to be bothered, I can be bothered. But when I don't want to be bothered, I don't have to be bothered. But it's beauty in it, because their yards are beautiful. If I want to see them, the landscape is perfect, right? It's just set up. But how are they going to grade the land? How are they going to make that land livable so that it's even and it's usable space in the front? This is a big one, because I had my whole heart broken. So I have dreams of these beautiful magnolia trees in my front yard. I love magnolia trees. They're so ornamental. They're evergreen. They're not like the oak and the cedar that's really common where we are. They just add, it's like jewelry for the front yard in a tree. I like to garden, and I know we'll have garden space, but I had my hopes and dreams set on magnolias. Well, guess what, friend? I cannot have a magnolia tree in my front yard because the HOA will not allow it. So when it comes to your yard, if you are like I am, if this is something that is common to you and that is of interest to you, you want to ask about what is going to be allowed to go in your yard. They will say, we'll sod your yard. You'll have this many trees, this many bushes, but ask specifically what those trees and bushes are going to look like so that you don't get your hopes up like I did. Because I'm like, oh, we got to have 2 trees in the front yard. They removed the trees that were there, which means they've got to plant trees. Maybe I can get them to plant some magnolias. Do I get to pick what trees that I want? Depending on where you are and depending on your circumstances. For us, our HOA has already handled that for us. They have specified what trees the builders can plant. They have specified what is not allowed. I am still going to sweet talk my construction manager into asking the HOA if the magnolia is okay, because it's native to Texas. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. It'd be so pretty in front of my cream house with those big, beautiful white blossoms during the summertime. Listen, I'm going to try to see if I can work it out. I'm going to let you know how it goes. But that's important to me. The curb appeal of the house is important to me. So if that's important to you, then ask during that pre-construction meeting, what are your plans for the front yard? And they may look at you like, because I did ask this question. They may be like, what do you mean? Well, as far as the appeal is concerned, we'll put some shrubs. What type of shrubs? Do I get to pick what evergreens go up front? Because for us, they have to place down, I think the HOA said 12 shrubs, 2 trees, or a tree and an established tree, and then like some flowers. Now, they don't say what shrubs and flowers and stuff are allowed and what are not allowed, but they are very specific as far as the trees were concerned. And we got 3 options: a red maple, a red oak, a Texas oak, or a cedar. So my choice will be the red oak because I can't do the cedar. The cedar will tear me up as far as allergies are concerned. And if I can get a little bit of color through the red oak, then that's what I want to do. So if that's important to you, your curb appeal, the outside of your house, then ask what that looks like. In addition to that, sidewalks, how the house is going to connect to the driveway. And some of these questions, they may say, hey, we don't have those answers yet because we've got to pour your slab, because that is a response that I've gotten as far as steps into the home, sidewalk from the driveway to the entryway. Can we put pavers down? They're going to charge you. Can we line it with stone? Can you take the extra brick and kind of line it? Those are questions that you want to ask. Is it an extra fee if we do that? Can we pretty up the way we enter into the home? And if so, is that extra, or is that something you can do once you've bricked and stoned the house down? If you have any extra, can we lay that as those are questions that I have as far as curb appeal is concerned. And if that's important to you, then you can ask, what are you going to line the flower bed with? Is that going to be lined, or are you just going to put the mulch in, plant the trees, and then there's no lining? I want mine lined because I don't want my line for my flower bed to creep, right? And I don't want to have to, season after season, go in and reestablish that line. So can we line it now with brick and stone? Is it extra? If it's extra, let me know how much more it costs. So because I want y'all to do that. I want to drive up to the house once we've closed, and I want it to be perfect, especially with the timing that we're set to close. We're closing, supposed to be in February, which, we got our expectations set on March. Well, that's the beginning of spring here in Texas. And that's when flowers will start to bloom. They'll be freshly planted. It'll be gorgeous. So let's go ahead and set that up. So that's one less thing I have to do when I get there. So if that's important to you, then that's a type of question that you want to ask. I have seen some builders, have seen some stories where homeowners are building, or people are building their homes, and the construction managers was like, don't come, or they locked up the house and stuff like that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Now, of course, it depends on where you are. All of the homes in this particular community, even when we were looking at other builders in the community, if they're being built, the doors have been unlocked until it's time for closing. So we don't have that issue. We do take the kids now, but just be cautious, right? And you're a parent. If you've got kids, you know how to keep your kids protected. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your kids. I don't go there. So we take our kids. But again, we just got foundation. If it gets to a point where it's too dangerous for them to go inside, then they just will hang out in the car until we get finished, if they go. But yeah, ask about those things. When are the guys going to be on site? I will give you this, and this is not about the pre-construction meeting, but this is what I learned from my broker. And this is just a part of who I am as a marketer. Relationships are everything, right? Relationships are so key. So when you are building this home, build relationships and get you a team. And maybe I'll do a video later about what that team should look like. Drop down in the comments and let me know if you want me to do a video about what your team should look like. But get people on your team. This has been an amazing experience because we got a team. We got our brokerage team working with the sales team for the builder. And she is our advocate with the construction manager. And it's been a really pleasant experience because they're on our team. In addition to that, when they start framing and when they start doing stuff in the home, those people are building your house for you to live in. I want them happy. I want them comfortable. I want them excited about what they're building. So take care of them. Take them waters. Take them Gatorades. If it's cold, take them coffee. Find out what they like and take them things to help them have a good experience while they're at your lot. I mean, I've went out there and those folks have been, digging the ground in the heat of the summer, just out there. And again, our lot sits up, so the sun is just blazing and the front of the house is north facing. I mean, it's exactly north and south. So that north sun is kicking their butts. It's hot. It's hot. Take care of the people that are building your house so that you can get, you want your house to be better than the house next door because they found out. I want people to be like, oh, that's Miss Whitaker coming, and get excited to see me come because they know I'm going to take care of them. And they know, because I truly, genuinely do care about people like that. I think it's a gift to be able to get out and do that. It's not something I'm willing to do. I don't have the DIY spirit like on the outside, except for gardening. I will garden, but like that hard stuff, I ain't about to do that. So anybody that does it, I'd be like, man, that, you up on scaffolds and up in my roof. Like, that's high off the ground. Let me get you some water, friend. You hungry? Let me feed you, and that's just the type of person I am. But I'm going to get off of here because I know this video has been longer than normal. If you have any questions about what I've said, please feel free to leave them down in the comments. I am thinking, and you tell me what you think about this. I am thinking about doing a series as well to help you get ready to move, to help you get ready to sell your house. We're going through the process right now of finding a brokerage firm to help us sell the home that we're in and preparing this house for sale. We've been blessed that there were some things that needed to happen with the house. The house is still under warranty. It has been an extreme blessing. Like, whoever gets this house, I'm so excited for them because I'll tell you what, I love this house. I just don't love the location. If this house was in the location where we're moving, I wouldn't be moving. So we have an amazing home. It's beautiful. We've got amazing neighbors that are here. So whatever family gets, because this is a family house. It's a 5-bedroom house. It's over 3,300 square feet. It's a family house. Whatever family gets this house after us, they're going to enjoy it. They are really going to enjoy it. And we've been blessed that the things that needed to happen with the house, as far as repairs and stuff are concerned, because San Antonio, the ground is trash, apparently. So most of every house that you get in this area needs foundation work. And they said it's depending on what side of the area that you're on. So we just happen to be in an area that has this problem. So it needed foundation repair, which had caused some cosmetic issues on the inside of the house. And we've been so blessed that the house was under warranty because it was built in 2014, that all of those repairs have been taken care of. They're completely redoing the outside of the home. It's going to be so pretty. I cannot wait. So I'm thinking about doing a series. I haven't really documented the process from like the tear up, but I'm thinking about doing a series on getting this home ready to sell, the process of us interviewing realtors and stuff like that. If you're interested in that, let me know down in the comments. Because I'll be more than happy to document that as well. And that could give us another video for the week while we're waiting on updates for the house, doing some staging hauls and stuff like that. I'm not a designer, but I do enjoy like putting some stuff together. I never got to put my touch on this house because I knew it was temporary. So I didn't invest in, doing the things to it that were going to be custom to me because I knew we were going to sell it. So I wanted it to be more of a more general canvas so it appeals to a larger audience. But, there's some things that we're going to do. We're going to do some decorating in the bathrooms. So if you want to see that stuff, let me know. And I'll document that as well. And that could be some entertainment for us while we're waiting on updates on the new house. But until then, thanks so much for watching. If you have any other questions about the pre-construction meeting, drop them down in the comments. If you have any questions at all, drop them down in the comments. Be sure, if you haven't already, if you're still watching, to like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure the notification bells are turned on, and then keep up with us over on the Instagram. And I'll see you in a video. It'll be out on Monday. I was trying to go for Sundays, but for whatever reasons, me and YouTube on Sundays, it just don't work. So it'll be out Monday evening, the update, because they were supposed to start framing this week. So we shall see. But that's it for now, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.